It's Wednesday, November 11th, and this is Now on HNN.
On this Veterans Day, events and ceremonies honor those who served our country.
The Trump campaign is filing another lawsuit disputing the election results. I'm Skylar Henry at the White House, where despite the stalemate, President-elect Biden is speaking with world leaders.
Is Hawaii's pre-travel testing program working? A look at the numbers and whether officials believe travel is contributing to the recent rise in new cases.
Plus, a nest full of those infamous murder hornets is found in Washington state. These stories and more coming up on This Is Now.
Aloha and welcome everyone inside This Is Now. Jonathan Soppy still on vacation, so alongside Ashley Nagaoka, I'm Ian Schuring. Americans across the country are commemorating Veterans Day.
That's right. We first want to thank our veterans and their families for their service and for keeping all of us safe. Now, because of the pandemic, events across the country look a little different this year, even here at home. We want to start with Casey Lund, who's at Pearl Harbor.
Good afternoon. It was a much smaller, more intimate ceremony than in years past, and this is the first year that they held the service in the morning, a very, very special event that kicked off around 6:45. We streamed it live on our Facebook, but wanted to share some of the sights and sounds from this morning's ceremony.
Oh.
Congressman-elect Kai Kahele was the keynote speaker for today's ceremony. He talked a little bit about his commitment to veterans, a 20-year veteran of the Hawaii Air National Guard himself. He says it's important to keep every veteran in our minds and in our hearts today as we honor their service and their sacrifice.
Veterans Day looks a lot different this year than it has in the past. Our current state of affairs and the protective measures implemented across the country to stop the spread of COVID-19 have forced us to think creatively to ensure we stay safe while honoring our nation's heroes. Today, we are prompted by history to remember the lessons taught by these brave men and women, values of American service, leadership, sacrifice, and perseverance.
We also spoke to other veterans about what their service means to them on this very special holiday.
It's different being here with no audience and the masks and whatnot and everything. But it's the fact that we're still doing these things to remember and honor those people that have served in the past and that are currently serving. So they should know that, till this day, no matter what's going on in the world, pandemic, whatever the case may be, that we're still going to be supporting all those people that have served prior and currently.
The virtual ceremony is a good reminder to all of us that the pandemic is here, it's among us. So I would like to invite all of us. We always remember our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines. We remember our veterans every Veterans Day, but I think this year especially we need to reach out to the older veterans, make sure they're taken care of, making sure all their needs are met with whatever we can do, especially with the pandemic and being so socially distanced.
Again, we did stream this live on our Facebook page. You can go there and see the entire event from beginning to end. Just search Hawaii News Now. Reporting on the USS Missouri, I'm Casey Lund for This Is Now.
Veterans Day ceremonies are being held across the nation, including two attended by President Trump and President-elect Joe Biden. This as uncertainty still surrounds the presidential transition. Skylar Henry reports.
President Trump commemorated Veterans Day, laying a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. While President-elect Joe Biden took time out from working on the transition to attend a ceremony in Philadelphia.
In their memory, and all those others who did not come home.
President Trump is still not recognizing Mr. Biden as the president-elect. The Trump campaign has filed a new lawsuit in Michigan with 234 pages of affidavits claiming voting irregularities. And Georgia's Secretary of State announced a full-hand recount of every vote to ensure the validity of the results.
This will help build confidence. It will be an audit, a recount, and a recanvass all at once.
President Trump's refusal to accept the outcome of the election means President-elect Joe Biden is not receiving daily intelligence briefings incoming presidents typically receive.
Access to classified information is useful, but I'm not in a position to make any decisions on those issues anyway. There's one, as I said, one president at a time.
Mr. Biden received calls from world leaders Tuesday, including British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and French President Emmanuel Macron.
Ready to congratulate you.
However, CBS News has confirmed the State Department is not assisting with those calls. And Secretary of State Mike Pompeo suggested Tuesday there may not be a Biden administration.
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration.
President-elect Biden said Republicans will eventually accept his presidency. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Projections on the electoral map changed this morning when the Associated Press called Alaska's 3 electoral votes for President Trump. Here's an updated look at where things stand. Biden has already secured the 270 votes necessary to become president. 2 states remain uncalled: Georgia, where Biden currently leads by about 14,000 votes, and North Carolina, where the president leads by more than 70,000 votes.
We're learning more this afternoon about how well the state's pre-travel testing program is working. Only 18 travelers to Hawaii have tested positive since the program launched last month. More than 15,000 post-arrival tests have been conducted. That's a positivity rate of less than 0.2%. Officials say these numbers are for travelers who have tested negative within 72 hours of flying to Hawaii. Does not include passengers who come here without testing and have to quarantine. This morning, we asked the city's infectious disease officer about whether travel was having any role in the recent rise in local cases.
You know, going back to the cause of the bump in numbers, and we've been assured about the pre-travel testing program, but is there any thought that perhaps what we've seen in Waikiki, people not wearing masks and so forth, that maybe it is the visitors that are bringing this?
I think that you know, it certainly is a possibility, but I'd also like to caution people that, you know, visitors aren't the only ones that are traveling. And so I think that even our residents that are traveling away and coming back can be spreading it. And actually, they are more likely to be gathering with their friends and family here. And that's when people let their guard down. So I think, you know, people are concerned about the tourists, but I think we should be concerned about our own residents as well.
Here are the latest Trans-Pacific arrival numbers we have confirmed. On Monday, about 2,900 people said they flew to the state for vacation. Another 1,300 were returning residents. Nearly 1,200 said they were visiting friends or relatives, and 180 told officials that they were permanently moving to Hawaii. Meanwhile, the 2-week lockdown on Lanai is scheduled to end tomorrow. Governor Ige approved Maui County Mayor Mike Victorino's request to move the island to a safer at home order on Thursday. More than 100 cases were eventually reported on Lanai, but there have not been any new infections over the last several days.
On a national scale, coronavirus hospitalizations have reached an all-time high in the U.S. Yesterday, there were reported to be more than 62,000 Americans hospitalized with COVID-19. The U.S. also reported a record 136,000 new infections yesterday, the 8th straight day with 100,000 cases or more. That's prompted scenes like this one at Dodger Stadium, with massive lines of people waiting to take COVID tests. CBS's David Begnaud reports.
Across the heartland, demand for testing is surging. COVID-19 cases are climbing, and as of yesterday, 17 states hit new records for hospitalizations. Here in Ohio, admissions and cases are rising so fast that hospitals may have to start postponing non-emergency procedures.
We're within, a couple of weeks of having to make difficult decisions, not just at my hospital, I'm talking every hospital in the state.
To Wisconsin now, they had another record-breaking day of coronavirus hospitalizations and deaths, which prompted the governor, Tony Evers, to issue a brand new stay-at-home advisory.
It's not safe to go out. So please cancel the happy hours, the dinner parties, the sleepovers, the play dates at your home.
To Iowa now. As states in Des Moines are filling up with COVID patients, Iowa's Governor Kim Reynolds has issued an order requiring people to wear masks in most public places. It's a move that the governor has resisted since the beginning of the pandemic, but now her state has one of the highest test positivity rates in the nation.
We've reached a point of serious community spread, and we can no longer pinpoint any one age group or type of activity that's driving it.
There is more good news this morning on the vaccine front. Dr. Anthony Fauci expects that Pfizer's vaccine will receive emergency use authorization by the FDA by the end of this month. The average American should be able to get a vaccine if they want it by the spring.
We're talking probably by April, the end of April, I would think.
You know, the vaccine could be a lifeline for people like Peggy George and Lisa Smith. The sisters from Toledo, Ohio, say they have had to visit their 91-year-old mother, Elizabeth Sminner, through the window of her nursing home for the last 7 months. They say their mother has dementia, and the lack of contact is making it worse.
It was heartbreaking because I didn't even get to say goodbye the final time. Everybody needs somebody in their life. They need our touch. We just want to take care of her.
You know, the sisters were telling us there are 8 of them in the family, and when all 8 go to visit Mom, they're on the outside her glass of her room. And there's something about the mom seeing them all together where she gets it. Oh, those are my daughters. She recognizes them. Well, now they say the nursing home has told them you can't do 8, you can only do 2. They don't understand that rule. We don't understand it. So I called the nursing home to figure out why would you not let as many want to go be outside the window. Haven't heard back, but we're going to follow up with them to see if that rule can be changed. David Begnaud, CBS News, Toledo, Ohio.
In other news, Honolulu police are on the hunt for 2 men who broke into a home in Kahala and tied up an elderly woman. Chelsea Davis spoke to the victim.
I saw a man and then another man walk into my room.
The 76-year-old woman says it was just before 11 Monday night when she was suddenly awoken.
I was startled and I thought, what's going on? You know, who are you? And they said, shut up, keep your mouth shut, don't struggle. I said, what do you want? Don't hurt me.
She says the intruders grabbed her, gagged her, then taped her mouth shut.
Then zip-tied my hands and zip-tied my legs together.
They asked for her jewelry. Her husband, who is disabled, explained to the criminals where it was. In the meantime, his wife managed to escape.
I was able to run out of the house and run into the street and yell for help.
Her neighbor heard her screams and called 911, but the criminals got away. Head of the Honolulu Prosecutor's Office Elder Abuse Division says it highlights an alarming trend among our senior citizens.
One thing that's very concerning is we're seeing an uptick in the number of violent crimes against our seniors.
Spallina says from 2008 to 2019, there has been a 300% increase in crime against seniors. Since 2019, it has more than doubled. Crime Stopper Sergeant Chris Kim says seniors should invest in cameras or watchdogs.
We also tell senior citizens as well to lock the doors when you're at home. You know, a lot of times they have that false sense of security that I'm at home right now, I don't necessarily have to lock my front doors or windows. But now we're trying to change that mindset. Even though you're at home, lock your doors, lock your windows.
Again, that was Chelsea Davis reporting. The suspects in this case are described as about 6 feet tall, 160 pounds, and medium build. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 955-8300. You can remain anonymous, and tips leading to an arrest can be eligible for a reward.
The suspect wanted for a deadly attack in Liliha has been arrested. Police records show that 31-year-old Christian Chavez was taken into custody at around 8 o'clock last night for manslaughter. HPD officers found Chavez in the same area as the assault occurred. Police say he got into a fight with a 58-year-old man on Monday who later died at the hospital. Sources say the fight may have started over a cigarette.
Remember those murder hornets? Well, experts in Washington state recently found a nest that could have produced hundreds of queens. Allison Grandy reports.
It looks like a queen or a queen.
entomologists showed off what they found as they cut the Asian giant hornet's nest out of the tree in Blaine.
It really seems like we got there just in the nick of time.
Finding more queens as they went.
Perfect.
Researchers took the section of tree back to Puyallup to cold storage where they opened it up, pumping it full of CO2 to make it too cold for the hornets inside to fly. They used chopsticks to pick through and found 76 queens still alive inside.
Everything that we found alive inside the nest, which would make sense, had likely emerged between the time we did our eradication and the time we did our examination.
The nest had the ability to produce about 200 queens. Just over 100 of them were still in their cells in the nest. The other 76, plus 3 found when they took the tree down, were put on ice to study.
There's no way for us to ever be certain whether or not we got them all.
If they had not found and eradicated the nest when they did, they say they'd be looking at the possibility of about 200 more nests. Right now, they think there are at least 3 nests in Whatcom County, and they'll keep trying to find them. But as it gets colder, it's harder for the hornets to fly around.
Should there be an active beehive attack, our chances are very good for finding another one. And certainly as people start going out hunting, they may stumble into one and let us know about it.
As for the name, murder hornet,
these are not going to hunt you down and murder you. If you walk into a nest, your life is probably in danger.
And that's Allison Grandy reporting. No thank you. Please find all of them and deal with them. Now for a live look outside, you guys. This is looking towards Aloha Tower. We have seen some wind gusts blow the camera around, but it is sunny out there. Here's Guy Hagi with your forecast.
How's it on this Wednesday? Blustery trade winds are picking up across the state except for the corner side of the Big Island, and they're blowing in a generous amount of showers. So it's very damp out there to start this Wednesday morning. But as the day progresses, drier conditions will take over for leeward sides. Windward sides will see passing showers from time to time throughout the day, throughout the next couple of days actually. And temperatures running to about 86 today here in Honolulu. UV index still high on the scale at 7. Now the surf will be building and peaking today for east sides where it's big, dangerous, a high surf advisory is posted, and that's all because of those strong and gusty winds. Not a whole lot happening anywhere else, and box jellyfish still likely swimming around for south shores. So very gusty winds today and tomorrow, 15 to 30 with some stronger gusts. And then on Friday, the winds scale back a little bit, and throughout the time period of the forecast, the next 7 days, we will see some passing showers, mainly for those windward and Mauka areas. Keep it here on Hawaii News Now. We'll have all your severe weather updates.
All right, to see him now, Jason Momoa, you'd think he was always a star, raking in the big bucks, but not so, according to The Wrap's website. Jason, in an interview, said that back in 2011, even after the first season of Game of Thrones aired, that he couldn't get work.
Wow.
Momoa's character, Khal Drogo, killed off in the first season of Game of Thrones, so it's not like he was around as that show progressed. Safe to say, though, that since then, things have turned around for him pretty well. He was in Aquaman, which you're seeing on the screen, the local premiere of that movie, which pulled in a ton of money. He's in the Apple TV series C, one of the best commercials from last year's Super Bowl. I'm excited to see Jason in the Dune remake that airs next year. He says his calendar currently full through 2024. Seems like he's doing all right for himself, and we're obviously thrilled to see that.
Yeah, I read one of the quotes where he said they were literally starving, which is crazy.
Not good, but like we said, that Aquaman movie obviously brought in a ton of money. The Justice League movie brought in a ton of money, so good for him. He's gotten things back.
That's right. You guys, Thanksgiving is around the corner, and check out this map. It allegedly lists the most popular Thanksgiving side dishes in each state. Now, lots of mashed potato states, lots of different casserole states, some mac and cheese, and if you look at Hawaii, they put turkey gravy as our favorite side. Thoughts, Ian?
I think that the Carolinas have it right with mac and cheese. I don't think mashed potatoes, that's like a main course at Thanksgiving, in my opinion. You kind of have to have it. So all the states with mashed potatoes need to get wiped off. Green bean casserole can stay. Turkey gravy can go. I don't even know what. Look at Alaska, hash brown casserole.
That
I don't
sounds
know.
interesting.
I don't know what that is. What is hash brown casserole?
Look at Maine, side salad, you guys. Really, you have
all of
like
the green,
lobster there.
All of the green items on that map are vegetables. That shouldn't count.
And speaking of vegetables, 2 fast food chains are unveiling new meatless options. Now, McDonald's announced its own plant-based burger called the McPlant. The internet is grilling McDonald's for that name, saying the company put 0 effort into coming up with it. Well,
yeah, McPlant.
McPlant, there you go.
Good job with that. I am going to pay as much attention to the name as I would to whatever a McPlant is.
Right. Right.
Time for some good news?
That's right. So on January, there will be a new POTUS, a new FLOTUS, and 2 new, what we're calling FIDOTUS. FIDOTUS?
FIDOTUS works for me.
So FIDOTUS, the first dogs of the United States. So canines will be back in the White House. They are Champ and Major, and Major is actually the first rescue dog to be in the White House. Here's Jeannie Moose with more.
By licking his opponent, Joe Biden is bringing another kind of licking back to the White House. Meet Champ and Major, German Shepherds who have already been deployed in web ads.
How would I look walking a dog on the White House lawn? Would that be...
Champ and Major for Dotus, dogs of the United States. Champ was a gift to his wife after Joe Biden won the vice presidency. Major was fostered and adopted by the Bidens in 2018.
Biden celebrated National Cat Day in the most obvious way by posting this picture of himself with a dog.
The first dog adopted from a shelter to occupy the White House. Major and Champ already have their own Twitter accounts where they're receiving well wishes from the owners of pets like Steve and Samson. Actor Justin Theroux tried to hook up his shelter dog with Major, single and looking for a running mate. Champ has already appeared.
He's a talker. Watch this. Hey, Champ, you want to play golf?
On 60 Minutes, the pair have been showcased in a holiday ad. Now they'll join the ranks of feuding Socks and Buddy, Barney the Biter.
Ooh, did it get you? I got bit by Barney.
And then there's Bo. Who's walking who at the White House? President Trump liked to talk about dogs.
And the guy choked like a dog.
But his first wife, Ivana, wrote, Donald was not a dog fan. Yeah, well, the feeling seemed mutual. When this Brooklyn dog named George encountered a punching bag Trump during a post-election stroll. President Trump may not be a dog fanatic, but he gets their attention. Remember how he speaks to reporters?
Sit down.
Jimmy Kimmel wondered if dogs would obey.
Excuse me, sit down. You weren't called. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
3 out of 4 sap, but when it comes to stay, these two will be staying at the White House, and a guy not known for beating his own chest will be thumping theirs. Jeannie Moose, CNN, New York.
All right, so not many people more excited to see German Shepherds, especially rescue dogs, into the White House. The one person that I do know that is every bit as excited to see that is the dog in Halava who lives in the Schering house, who's sitting at home screaming, "That's my cousin! That's my cousin! That's my cousin!"
That's Roman Schering. That's Ian's German Shepherd, and he's the sweetest. And it's only fair because Jonathan talks about his cat on this show all the time.
We got to get some airtime.
Yeah.
Especially with this, there's a German Shepherd going to live in the White House. It'll be cool to have dogs back. We can't wait.
Absolutely. And that's going to do it for us on This Is Now, you guys. Happy Veterans Day. And again, thank you to all our veterans and their families for their service.